Welcome in. It is day 67 and you're speaking to the Meeples Champion. Today we're jumping into a small card game. It's one I've only gotten to play a few times just because, well, to be honest, COVID kind of ruined the ability to play this game for quite a while. But I'm hoping to get it back to the table when I have some family get-togethers again soon. And that game is Hanabi. Hanabi is a cooperative fireworks game. The concept of the game is quite simple. You're going to get 5, or if you want to play with them, 6 different suits. You're going to shuffle these up, and everybody's going to draw 5 cards. You do not look at your own cards. You actually hold the cards up at your head so everybody else can see them. You can put it in front if you want, but the idea is that you just want to make sure everybody else at the table knows what you have. You have a mix of colors and numbers. You're trying to create a fireworks display. So when it's your turn, you get one of 3 options. You can choose an opponent or fellow player and give them information. That information can either be, they have 5 cards and these ones are green, and you point to those 3 and say, these 3 are green. Or you can point to a couple cards and say, these ones are 2s. And they might be different color, you can't tell them. You can only give them the color or the number information and the total of that they have. That's one. The second is, you can play a card. When you play a card, you're trying to create the firework display. So in order to do this, you have to start at 1 and build to 5. So if you play a card and you've already got a green 1 and you play a second green 1, that is a bad play. The card is going to go to the discard pile and you're going to take a hit. I'll explain what taking a hit means in a moment. The third option is you're going to discard a card. You're discarding it because you only have 8 pieces of information to give. So whenever you give a piece of information, you have to take one of these clock pieces and you have to toss it into a box. Well, when you discard a card, you can pull one back out of the box. This helps it so that you can keep giving each other information. Now, the idea of the game in order to win is you need to complete all 5, or if you're playing with the 6 suit, 6 different firework displays. So you're trying to get everything up to 5. Now, it is extremely hard. I don't know anybody who's completed this game before. However, when you're playing, the game can end if, 1, you have gotten everything to 5. It's unlikely, but it could happen. 2, every time that you play a card, whether it's discarding the card or playing the card, you have to draw back up to get a 5th card. If at some point you draw the last card from the deck, you and everybody else at the table will take 1 additional turn, and then the game ends and you'll count your score. Your score being, okay, I have the green at 5 points. The yellow's at 2 points. The white's at 1 point. I didn't even get a red, 0 points. You add them up, see what your score total is, and then you look at the chart and try to see where it ranks you for, were you an expert? Were you good? Were you bad? Were you horrific? That's your second way. Your third way is, whenever you make a mistake, you have to take one of these pieces off of the fuse pile. It's long, then medium, then short. You take that off, and now you see an explosion, that's the game. So you can only make 3 mistakes. That is not easy, and there's no way to recover that. So it's not an easy game. This is simple, it's short, it's fun, but it's not easy. So what do I think of this game? Let's jump into our 7 categories. Category 1, art. The box is nice, and the cards are little firework displays. There's not a lot to this. It's very nice. I think it grabs the eye. I played it before I bought it, but I bought it immediately after having played it. And I think that when you're going into a board game store, especially one that has a supply of the smaller card games, this one's going to grab the eye. It's a thumbs up. Your components. All you have are your cards, and then you have the 8 time token cardboard pieces and 4 for the fuse pieces. It's not a lot. They're nice, and they're going to hold up. It's a thumbs up. Your price. This is like a $12 game. You're going to find it in any board game store. You're going to find it in Barnes & Noble. Maybe in Target. I think it does have a smaller card section. It's been a bit since I've looked at that section of Target, but I believe that this is there. This is a pretty popular game as far as just making sure it's out and available. It may not make a lot of money because it's not that expensive. It's only about $10 to $12. But it's definitely a game that's out there, easy to get, not that expensive. Thumbs up. Your difficulty. This is difficult, and it's not difficult in a understanding how to play. It's difficult in being able to. I think a lot of people lose and get frustrated, and it's a game that won't get played a lot because of that. It is difficult. I don't recommend it for kids because I think that while it's okay for a kid to try it, kids are likely to just be cheating, and you're going to end up basically saying, oh, well, you weren't supposed to tell him this. You weren't supposed to say that to them. You shouldn't have looked at your card. So I wouldn't recommend it there. Beginners, I feel like this is a game that's just, I don't know. Maybe it's okay for beginners, but for me, I tend to think that this is actually really good specifically for the experienced only players. Somebody that this isn't their entry level game. I wouldn't use it as an entry level. And somebody who has already tested other stuff and knows what it is. And then they go, oh yeah, this is a fun little one. It can be frustrating because the likeliness is you're never going to get a perfect score, no matter how hard you try. And it can be annoying because you may not have serious gamers and people are kind of playing around and looking at their stuff. So I'm going to give it a thumbs down on the difficulty because I do feel like this one kind of runs into that. It's really hard to find the exact right group of people to make it so that the difficulty doesn't matter. Replayability, I don't think it's massively replayable. And I don't mean you can never get at the table again. I just mean maybe once a year you're going to kind of take this out and go on like a few times in a row. But the likeliness is this is a rare one. I think this was one that you have to find the exact right group with, and that may not be the same group that you game group with. So it's kind of hard for me to recommend this on replayability because I feel like you have to find such a niche group to do that with. Just how I've seen it. So thumbs down there. Keys to victory, it's very straightforward on keys to victory. You need to get everybody working together and communicating in the right way, using the rules, making sure not to lose out on their time tokens, making sure not to screw up, and eventually you're going to be able to get all your fireworks built up. It's very straightforward. It's understanding. Thumbs up there. Unique. I do think it's unique. I don't think there's another game I've seen that really does this. I guess you could kind of say this works like the co-op mode in a way of the crew, where you can't have somebody take the lead and it's a lack of communication that causes the co-op to work. But I feel like these go in very different directions. In that game, you never are sure what the mission really is, and there's a lot of stuff getting in the way. In this game, it's always the exact same thing, and it's just about knowing how to share that information. And it actually allows the ability to share information a lot more than that other game. So yes, there's a little bit of comparable there, but it's very different from it, and I feel like this stands on its own. So thumbs up on the unique. Overall, what do I think of this game? I like it. I think it's definitely one that, if you have the right group, give it a try. I don't know if this necessarily fits with every family or if it's going to fit with every group of friends. I don't think it's a gamer group game. I think this is for one of those spots. You need to find that outside your game group friends, outside your game group, your family get together, that this will work for. But it is going to be niche. It's not an easy one to get to the table. Overall, I think if you do find that group, pick it up. But I don't think you need to. I think it's cheap. So if you want to get it, go for it. But maybe just take your time, see if you find a group that you like social deductions with, that you like co-ops with, a family group that likes to play the occasional, and then go spend the money and say, let's see if this is something that could work for us. And maybe it just doesn't hit, and that's fine too. Well, that's just my opinion. It's up to you guys to get it to the table and see what your opinions are. This has been day 67. We've been talking about Hanabi, and you've been speaking to the Meeples champion. Like, share, subscribe, and check down below in the description where I'll be adding in an Amazon link, so if you're interested, you can pick this game up for yourself. Until next time, I'll talk to you tomorrow.